Every day, we make choices that shape our lives: what to eat, what to wear, and how we spend our time. But there's one choice that can truly make a difference in our community and our country. It's the choice to vote. Your voice matters. Your vote matters. And it's never been easier to make sure your voice is heard.
At vote.gov, you can register to vote in just a few easy steps. Whether you're a first-time voter or updating your registration, it's quick, secure, and straightforward. When you register to vote, you're taking an active role in our democracy. You're standing up for your beliefs and ensuring your opinions are counted.
And it's not just about national elections. It's about having a say in the decisions that affect our local communities, our future, and our country.
That's right. If you're not registered, take a moment today to visit vote.gov. It's simple, it's important, and it's your chance to make a difference.
Register to vote today at vote.gov and let's show up and participate in this year's election. Your voice, your power, your future. Let's make it count.
Visit vote.gov now. It's time to take action. What's up, everybody? You've tuned in to Just Drawz, the podcast that explores hot topics and various experiences among same-gender-loving Black men. In each episode, we offer raw, vulnerable, and stripped-down perspectives to give voice to our frequently overlooked population. Here, we don't just scratch the surface, we dive deep, peeling back the layers of our experiences as well as heteronormative stereotypes. Let's get into this week's episode.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Just Drawz podcast. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Darius, aka DMC.
All right, and tonight we are coming from the locker room in Flex, Atlanta.
Ooh. Yet another place I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think you that's your speed. It might be. You may have a whole little aspect of that, you know. Yeah, I don't know you like that.
You do know me though. So yeah, probably.
Yes, indeed. So so tonight we've got a special guest. We have Mr. Jimmy here. Grab your Jimmy. Welcome to the podcast. Tonight we are going to be talking about nudism and that lifestyle as it relates to Black gay men.
Okay, thank y'all for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Indeed.
Welcome, Jimmy. Welcome.
Indeed. Is there anything you want to tell us about before we get into this about yourself?
Yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I am Grab Your Jimmy. I have different aliases, but everybody know me as Grab Your Jimmy. I guess I go ahead and start with how I got involved in the nudist thing.
Okay.
So I got into the nudist thing probably 2011, 2012. It started out as I always wanted to go to Hallover. So it started out as that, and then
and that's the beach in Florida, the new beach in Florida,
in Miami.
Yeah.
So it was like, let me see what is this about, and that was my first time actually experienced the new lifestyle, quote unquote. But I didn't really get fully involved till maybe by the time I turned, by the time my age, where I know now, 37. About 37, and I really got into it then and fully dwell in it, because I think most of the time, I guess we'll get into it. Hollover was a opener because I realized that everyone is actually into nudity, far as being comfortable with their bodies and their skin in all ages, minus the kid. Was there, but it was very much got into it that way because I always been comfortable with my sexuality. I always been comfortable with my body, even when I was thick as hell, but at one point in the size I am now. So it's never been one of those things where I hid, even with me being quote unquote. I consider myself gender non-conforming, meaning that as I explained to my mom, I'm Prince, because she's like, what is that? I'm Prince. I'm George Michael. She get it. Grace Jones. I'm like, oh, I get it. But I always been comfortable in myself, so it's never been who I'm ashamed to show anything or ashamed to do anything that I do. So
Okay. That's good. Having confidence like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So all over the beach. So let's get some things out of the way. So what would be the difference for you being nude at Holliver versus just at your house?
the main difference is because all over or in general, it's just everybody is literally naked because but let me explain this because a lot of people probably don't know. All over has two sides.
Mm-hmm.
It's a closed side, and
Right.
there's what they call the naturalist nude side, where they
Mm-hmm.
sunbathe and all that. So, being at home, you're really to yourself, and you kind of like. I'm not gonna say you're not on display, so to speak, because you're technically not on display at Hollow because everybody's really nude. You see grandmothers, you see cancer patients, you see women with their mastectomies. Um,
So I'm
I,
normalized.
normalized. You see older men with their balls hanging down to their knees. So, so, but you see all of that, and it's like you see the youth when you're young, 20s to 90-old people, and standing around having a conversation. At home, you're really to yourself. You might be naked around your spouse or whoever, and even then, most people don't sleep naked. For me, I sleep butt naked. So that's part of it. So with places like All Over and the different events with nudity is there, is people is comfortable in their skin. As RuPaul say, you're born naked, everybody else is in drag. Everything else is in drag.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I look at it.
Um, yeah, so similar to you, I went to a new beach this last winter, right before my birthday in November. So that was like my first experience actually having not necessarily social nudity, but in that sense where I'm just kind of outside and it's other people there. So that was an interesting experience because I kind of was like you. I was kind of interested in like, what is this about? And, is this something that was for me? So I had planned this, a while ago. Well, months before I actually had booked the trip. So, I went on a beach tour. Everything was cool. And it was very freeing. So I really enjoyed the experience. One thing I did want to come to is, you know, try to just demystify some of this stuff early on in this conversation. What would you say would be the difference between being nude and naked? Because a lot of times people think that these are one and the same.
And I am people.
And Darius is people. He thinks that they're one and the same. I feel that they are two different things.
Okay.
And I can explain my reasoning, but I want to see if you have any differences in that, or are you one of those people where like Darius?
Like honestly, let me think about it. Because honestly, in my mind, I always thought they're one in the same to me.
Okay.
But at the same time, one is naked to me. If I had to think about it, naked is just like, okay, hey, get naked, take your clothes off, strip club Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Nudity to me is very much in a way of artistic sensuality. Like for me, I know we're not gonna go there, but to me, a tasteful nude between like a trash ass nude. I don't know if I can curse like that,
No, you
but a
Yeah, go
can't.
trash
for it.
ass nude is like the sensuality, the look in your eyes. Like I'm comfortable with my skin. I really want to be here. I don't look like I'm trying to look like the content creators that do videos like they work at Walmart, like they really don't want to be there, or look like they're stuck in headlights. Like it's very much comfortable in your skin. Look, that's why I think of nudity, like the sensuality of it, because you see a tasteful dude, the sensuality lures you in. Naked is like, girl, grandma got her titties out again, and
Okay.
walking in. Oh, this is too embarrassing. When could I used to stay with my grandmama, and I used to walk in my grandmama's like. Girl,
The girls are out.
put that away. So that's the
That's right.
difference between that. So that's how I look at it. But I
Okay.
really never really thought about it like that until
Okay.
the hammer was ripped.
You're equating nudity with a form of, or not a form of, but it's closely associated with sexuality, or
No, not necessarily. No,
no?
it's more
Okay.
of a comfortability in knowing who you are because everybody can get naked, but everybody can't do a tasteful. Everybody can't do a nude. If that makes sense,
Okay.
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 because
So you're
it's more
adding an
of like
artistic element to it
not
in
necessarily
nudity.
artistic. It's more of
Okay.
like a comfortability, a confidence, a swagger. Like when you do a nude, and even when you take nudes in yourself, you can have most horrible ass body, but if you sell that confidence in your eye, like you want this, you see these body parts. That's nude. Naked is like, oh, I guess I gotta show you a dick pic. I ain't really comfortable. It's like that to me.
Okay.
Okay. So Jeff, what is your
It's
So
all of it's
definition
it's,
then?
it's more of being comfortable with yourself
okay.
and
I can
know who
see
you are.
that.
Yeah.
I can see that. Because see, for me, my thinking is like if I'm nude, I just happen to be naked. I happen to be naked if I'm female and I'm breastfeeding my child. I happen to be naked when I'm changing clothes at the gym or, something like that. I just happen to be nude, rather. I happen to be nude. But I'm naked when I'm taking a photo of my ass or my dick and I'm sending it to you. I'm being more sexual with it. Then to me, that means I am naked. But if I just happen to be nude, or like you kind of said, it's just a artistic, you know, display of the body. I feel
Mhm.
like that's more of being nude versus being naked because I associate being naked with sex. Like we about to fuck. I'm about to put something on display. My intention here is to get some type of gratification out of it or stimulate someone else. Where
Yeah.
if it's I'm just nude, I'm at the doctor's office. I gotta get this exam done. I gotta be nude for that.
I don't see it. See, I don't. I agree to a certain extent because I don't. To be naked, yes, it's
Mm,
naked is a purpose, if that makes sense.
okay.
Because you get naked to take a shower, you get naked to do a exam, like you just said. You get
Mm,
naked um when you at the gym, whereas nude is you're attention well you intentionally drawing someone in or you doing stuff like when I think of this I ain't trying to shade nobody. So when I think of pictures of Grace Jones
okay.
and Lil Kim, I don't see naked. I see nudity, meaning I see that you are naked, but the nude aspect of it is that you're doing something artistic, creative. You're alluring someone in. Whereas when you do content creating, you're naked,
Mm,
or when you have sex, you're naked because your purpose is to get this nut or that. So it's like to me, it's a purpose versus the alluring thing. I know what I'm trying to say, but I'm
mm.
probably confusing myself at the
So
same
it
time.
sounds so
Yeah, that kind of goes with. Oh, go
is
ahead,
there some
Jerry.
sort of graduation? So like you can start out naked, but then it can become nude, or is there some sort of digression from that? Like you can initially be nude, but then it switches to naked? Because I'm just listening to the definitions here. And as you're saying, Jimmy, that naked has a purpose, like there is a reason why behind that. But nudity is something that, and I keep kind of hearing this artistic sort of spin on it, that it's intentional and there's a purpose there, but the purpose is a little bit different than just something that is almost routine or something that is obligated.
Yes, I agree. So for me, to answer your question, if you graduate from being naked to nude, because naked as kids, when we're babies, we come in the world naked.
Mhm.
We come
Right.
we come in the world that nude. to me, you graduate to from naked to nude to the point where for me it's more of like, okay, I'm comfortable with my skin, I'm comfortable with my appearance. I love every aspect of my body because not everybody that like everybody that's naked don't necessarily love their body. So
Okay.
and there is certain things that they may be ashamed of. They might be ashamed of their belly fat. They might be ashamed of their scars from their mastectomies or their anything. Whereas when you're nude, to me, it's more of like, yes, you may get the attention of somebody, and yes, we do send nudes to tantalize people for real in this day and age. But truthfully, when you send in that nude, you send it the purpose like, look, I'm hot. I also I'm hot. I'm telling you that I'm hot. My dick is big. You see this ass. I ain't gonna get that graphic because I don't know who listening, but but you see the
Yeah,
goodies.
you're fine.
You see the goodies. I know what I got. Versus like I'm naked, but I'm also like this at the same time.
Okay.
Even though when you do this, like when Janet Jackson does it, or when TLC did it, is you still semi-nude, but it's also you still naked, but you also semi-nude because your purpose is that you're drawing someone in. Versus when you naked, it's kind of technically you kind of drawing someone in, but that's not the full purpose. Most of the time, it's not the full purpose of drawing somebody in that makes sense. Because you like when you naked at the doctor, you ain't trying to draw him in to get your prostate exam.
Yeah.
That ain't sexy.
I mean,
No.
it's true because he's coming over to do some things to you. So
But you ain't
he's
getting
being
off
drawn over
from
you. Right.
yeah,
So then
you ain't
should
getting
we
off from getting
change?
this yeah.
I hope not, but should we change then the term then when people are like, oh, do you have nudes? So then like if I'm using you guys as definitions of naked versus nudes, then should there be some other term created because it's not necessarily artistic? It's just for that
They're not
specific
gonna
No,
use
purpose.
it. It's gonna be nude, just like Twitter gonna be Twitter. It ain't never gonna be X.
so
It's gonna be
but
nude.
so let me let me clarify something. So I'm not necessarily saying that news have to be artistic. So let me clarify that. What I'm saying is there is a alluring fact to being nude. Meaning even if you're at the nude beach, there's a sensual when I say sensual, it's more of like being in an environment where everyone is around. You see the sights, you see the hot ass beach, the sand, and you just see everybody being comfortable around each other, and you see all the bodies. So I don't want to just necessarily say it's artistic. I don't want to say that, but it's just more of a sensuous feeling, and then it's also about you feeling yourself. That even when you're at the nude beach, and the first time people are because even for me at the nude beach, I was scared. I had on jams, which I don't even know. I don't even wear jams no more. So,
I
but
haven't
I
heard
had
the
on
word
jams. But
jams in forever.
yeah, I know. Let's let you know. But it's all about being comfortable with your skin and being around other people that are nude and you're not really hiding. Because naked is technically you semi is still kind of hiding a little bit when I say that because I'm gonna just use the doctor for example.
Okay.
It's like you hiding because you really don't want to be there. And not saying that everybody that naked don't want to be naked. Let me clarify that. But it's also like a little bit of hiding, like a little bit of shame, a little bit of hiding. Whereas when you nude, you let everything hang out and you don't give a fuck what's going on. If that makes sense. So even when you do send news, you still don't give a fuck what's going on because your whole intent is I'm luring you to come to me. I'm luring you to look at me, but I'm also comfortable in my skin because yeah, I may as long as you ain't ashy, yeah, even if I'm ashy, I'm comfortable with the fact that you see my ashy ass ankles in this picture. I'm comfortable with that.
So then nudity then is a graduated form of being naked that
Mm,
encompasses uh level of comfort and security in your body.
yes,
Okay.
yes, because you have to love your body. For me to the face. to embrace being nude and being involved in nude events, you have to love your body and be comfortable with your body and realize that all bodies are not the same, but you're cool with that. And
Mhm.
because when you go to these events, you're gonna see every type of body. Ideally, let me say that. Ideally, you should see every type of body. You're gonna see every age group minus the minors. Then, depending on if you go to like Europe or anywhere, you might even see little kids naked. Don't
True.
and it's non-sexual. It's just that way of living. Even when
Okay.
they have like nudist camps, most of the nudist camps that's for they have nudist camps for families. I've never been. I don't plan on going, but they do exist where the whole family is nude. That's what they do, and it's nothing sexual about it.
Just how it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So let's get into things like events. So, your experience was at a nude beach. I had an experience at a nude beach. And so for me initially, I was interested in going to the Korean spas here in Atlanta. So,
Mhm.
everybody now should be aware, like Jeju is on Housewives and other shows like that. So, I saw that and was like, I'm interested in this. Like, I want to go experience this. And, I like Asian culture anyway. So, I was interested in getting like the scrubs and all that other stuff, but I knew that going in, I would have to be completely naked. And so I had to kind of get over that hump. And
Mhm.
so it took me like a while to even get to the point where I would drive up to the spa and actually get out of the car, pay my little money and go experience the whole thing. And then after, the first time, probably 5 minutes in, I was like, oh, this is okay. I don't have to have this towel wrapped around me this whole time. Everyone's here, seeing everything. It's no big deal. We're
Mhm.
all dudes, blah, 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 this and the other. And, I got over it. So what would you suggest or what are ways that someone that is interested in trying out nudity get into nudity?
Um, I think now that it's actually easier to get into it now and find social groups like on Meetup and social media. And
Mhm.
I say this to all the kids like a granddad. Use social media for what it was known for, to network instead of complaining and bitching. You can literally find your tribe that way. Um, for me, I started out um from word of mouth that I knew someone that threw new parties. Difference between nude party and the sex party. This is strictly non-sexual, just people hanging around being nude, just different events. They eating chicken, just doing normal stuff, eating chicken, playing games. They just happen to be nude, so it's non-sexual. So I started out um, going to house parties for people that was hosting those parties, and during that time, um, and I think people still do it. They vet people before they allow them to come in because they want to make sure that this you're really in there for the nudity and not for the sex, because there's a total difference because everybody does think nudity equals sex, and it absolutely does not. So I would say, um if you can find it, and I do know for a fact it's on there are meetups. There are meetups for people that do called under naturalist, because that's the name for nudity, naturalist. Start from there. um Talk to some of the people that you see online that go to nude beaches that's not fucking on the beach. Um,
Right.
but that's actually they're enjoying it and all that. Being that we live in metro cities like Atlanta and stuff, it's easy to find people that are into nude activities. And like you have my thing, Bro Code, that throws events. You have Unclad Kings with Mario. You have um Seven with Afro Nudists. So those different groups, because the thing about it is there are new groups and there are also new groups of for men of color. So, and the one thing that's a misconception that just because there's men in these groups, it doesn't necessarily mean they're gay.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean they like dick and they're trying to get your boy pussy. No, these are just men. They just like being naked and having karate find a brotherhood and all this thing. So I would say if you can use your social media, meet up, um, even the organizations that I mentioned,
Yeah.
each one of us throw an event once a month, depending on who it is. Right now, I know we haven't getting to that yet, but um, Seven is having this annual Halloween party,
Yeah.
nude, non-sexual, and Mario they're going to Fat Spectacular, where they're going to the cabin, nude group, and all that stuff. They also all of us, I won't be there because I have to work. But all of us is also walking. We're not walking nude, so let me verify that. Um, they're also walking in the A's walk on the 19th. So if you see them, just go to them, talk, ask questions. No one is going to say, "Hell no, we can't talk to you because what the fuck you asked me these questions about?" No, because we really are interested in people coming and support these things, especially being a color. Because at the end of, as we was having the conversation earlier, black people, especially black men and black gay men, have been taught to be ashamed of their bodies, and we shouldn't be. So you see this brotherhood come together, and then I know if you stay in like smaller cities, it might be harder, but use the internet. The internet has made the world much smaller than you think.
So I think, like you said, you can meet these people or find these groups while you have your clothes on. You have to get
Right.
your introduction to them, butt ass naked, right at the door. People wear clothes still. Yeah, so you can use social media to find these different groups, and like you said, we're talking about Atlanta because we're both in Atlanta.
Right.
But people that are outside of Atlanta that are listening to this podcast, there probably is a news sector or a group of people in your major metropolitan area that you can find and get into. And even if it's not black and you find one that's white and you still want to get into it, you can still at least enter that group and you may be able to find other black or people of color that want to do their own thing. So there's nothing stopping anyone
Look,
from, doing that stuff. And it could be as
and
simple as a card game party on Friday
right.
night.
And the gag is, spoiler alert, if you're in the South, every southern state has a nude campground. Every southern state has one.
Yeah.
They have one. They're gonna have at least one for the gays. They're gonna have one for the straights. They're gonna have one straight for the families. I just found out Alabama had one.
Okay.
So they have one. They have a gay one. But I say all this to say, um, if you got to people got to do research, and there's nothing wrong with research. Use
Yeah.
the internet. Use Twitter, Facebook for what it's for. Stop spreading bullshit. And use the shit for what it's for, and find the people that you're trying to the crowd that you're trying to get with. Because at the end of the day, if you really want to be in the nudity in a way that you want to hang around with got people that like to be nude, you got to search for it.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is
And
what is the vetting process like that you talked about earlier when you said you go to those events and you said that they vet people to make sure that they're there for the art or the act of being nude versus just being there for sex? What's the vetting process?
So the vetting process that I went through um, many moons ago, I had lunch with one of the organizers, had a conversation about the the how what goes on at this goes on at the event. So this particular event was a house party. So hey, XYZ, had lunch with them. Told me the expectations of what goes on and what's not allowed, and is this something that I really want to do? So, you get invited to the party if you pass that first level, and it sounds like you joined a fraternity, but you join
Exactly. You
you
being
join that
hazed.
first level. The second part is because at the same time, yes, everybody's nude, but some people are still private about their lives. If that makes sense. So
Hmm.
you go there to the second vetting part is like once you get there, are you able to be discreet? Are you not going to have your phone out? Are you not going to be trying to um not the word lure? I can't think of the word I'm going for. Um Try to have sex with somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try to have sex with somebody
Entice.
while they're there. Entice, yes. Are you gonna try to like even with men, with men, our dicks get hard. Are you gonna be trying to jerk the man dick off while you
Right.
talking? Or are you gonna be jerking your dick? And so it's stuff like that that gets vetted. And unfortunately, the people that do that, you're no longer allowed to come. You no longer be involved. And it's not that you're not just on that one list. It's just like, hey, don't bring that dude. That dude can't come to any of these events because hey, he was taking pictures because this has happened. People, he was filming. Everybody had his camera out and all that stuff. And so for any of the events that I try to. I say this, try emphasis. I have no phones allowed. Period.
Hmm.
Um, because at the end of the day, I don't know what you're trying to do with this, and then these hoes are sneaky that y'all trying to make money, try to make
Right.
money off this, and try to get a content while taking somebody's picture. So
Right,
there's no
right.
phone allowed, and so um, far as my personal events, I vet everybody, not bro code, but far as my personal events, I vet people because I'm the type of person like. Are you gonna like everybody's doing this, but I don't need everybody to know that we're doing it. One, two, you can't have no phones. Um, what I usually do, I have a meeting hangout before anybody gets nude or anything. Just hang out, see if people just mail and all that, because make sure there ain't no drama, none of that stuff, and then go from there. So I have hosted my own events. I have hosted groups, not groups, yeah, groups, um, group trips and stuff where we went to all over. We went to Puerto Rico for my birthday, just gelling that. Not necessarily everybody was new, but we went to the new hotel, the closed optional hotel in Puerto Rico. Most of the places that we stay at is closed optional. Any of the stuff, so it's more about vetting and keeping the peace and see if people just not saying we got to go around putting tracks in our hair and braid each other hair and none of that stuff, but just to see if there's a cohesiveness, a goal
Check.
that we, yes, all that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point because I think it's very important to make sure that you have people that will be there for the right reasons. So once a person gets over through the vetting process, I'll say this: like I know a lot of people listening to this or would be interested in, like, so what happens? Like you mentioned before, someone's jerking their dick and this, that, and the other. Well, what happens if my dick get hard? What do I do? And all these little things like that, because in my situation or my experience, someone starts to get a little chub, this, that, and the other, and you're not reacting to it or you're not doing anything to encourage it. And the party is not that vibe. It's a platonic, non-sexual party. If you're able to cover yourself and you can keep on going about your day, because eventually, even if you do get a little bit excited and you're
Mhm.
just on chub and you're not like fully erect, then, no one's going to think that there's anything bad with that as long as you're,
Mhm.
you know, monitoring yourself appropriately.
Yeah. So most of the time you can put a towel over yourself or don't use my pillow, but people have pillows, but don't use mine.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, pillow and stuff like that. Because we're men, things happen. We like if the wind blows us on a goodly, we get hard.
Right.
Hopefully, I mean, hopefully, if you look, hopefully.
You can still
So
do that. Right.
like you can still do that, right?
Right.
Exactly. But it's natural. So it's like things like that. But the thing about it is that people have this big conception just because your dick hard, you automatically
Have
think
to react to it.
it's time to go get bust down. No, it's just a part of life. Again, I'm at the age that if my dick still get hard, I'm happy because I'm about to be, like I said, I'm about to be 44. The shit goes down after that. But
It does not.
I did find that out. But my
Don't
doctor has
don't don't
confirmed
put
that.
that don't put those
Look,
lies out
look,
there to these
look.
people because it
My
does
doctor
not.
has confirmed that, so that's a
Okay.
plus.
All
You're
right.
right. But either way it go, it's just part of it's part of
just
biology. It's
just
gonna
how our,
happen.
just how we work. Yeah. And I think, like you said, as long as you're not there to be like a looky loo and all of that stuff,
Right.
you'll be fine. So like for first timers listening, if you do get aroused, it's okay.
It's
All
okay.
you have to do is just bring your towel with you. There's most places that when people have parties in their own home, you would want to, and it may be even included in their conversation
Bring a
of the
towel.
invitation, like bring you a towel, have something to just cover yourself or to sit down on, because you're going to be at somebody's house and you may have taken a shower before you got there, but we don't know that. Nobody's going to be examining you before you get to the door.
No.
Anyway, so
That's
courtesy
not
would
part
be
of the vetting process.
not part of the vetting process. No one's digging up in your booty hole crack
No.
and lifting up your balls trying to inspect
No.
what you got going on. You bring a towel and you sit down on your little clear cloth towel.
But the etiquette of that is, though, you should come to these events freshly showered
Yeah.
and all that stuff, because
I mean, I would think so. Have you been to an event where people weren't?
No comment.
Okay.
He's protecting. He's
That
either
would be a-
protecting
that
the
would be a
innocent.
No comment. Yes.
Protecting the innocent, but some people have that man scent kink. So, but two things can be true at the same time.
Same time. Yeah. And the man scent kink
I don't know. I don't know about that in this situation.
Look.
Yeah, I don't know if two things need to be true at the same time in this sort of situation. So
no.
All right. So, you mentioned before, like if someone has like a house party and it could just be like a game night, people could just be watching movies, cocktails and conversations. Other than like house parties and things like that, you mentioned that you've hosted events. What type of events have you hosted? What type of activities? You want to elaborate a little bit on that?
So I have hosted as part of Bro Code right now. I've hosted nude karaoke. I'm thinking nude karaoke for sure. The pool party. Um, I'm laughing because that did turn into something else, but that's a whole other story. But it was advertised that way though. But outside of most of the time it's not. But it was advertised that way. But the pool parties, we hosted like intimacy workshops where the guys learn how to be intimate, not necessarily sex, but as far as like massage, yoga, all those things.
And this is new too?
Yeah, this is new too. Nude yoga. What else have I attended? I have attended nude yoga by this guy named Brandon Anthony. He comes into Atlanta a lot. You see him a lot on Instagram. Of course, I haven't hosted it yet. The Sip and Seas, where your aunties go wild because they see a man with see his penis out, and they're like, "Girl, he don't like you. He ain't playing for your team. He don't play on your team." But we'll let you have the fantasy for today. There's been nude camps that I've been to, where there's like cabin weekends and stuff like that, where people just walk around, mingle, fellowship at the campgrounds. That was also oh shit, what's that place? In Augusta.
Parliament House.
Parliament House, even though they have stuff going on there, but that was the purpose of the weekend that was there. So
yeah, it's a clothing optional gay men's
optional
resort.
Stuff like that. So usually someone is hosting an event, I would say especially during the summer, where they're going on a field trip to many other campgrounds here in Atlanta. There's two that I know for sure, that's like for gay men, that's clothing optional.
Yeah, I think it's like four. At least four in Georgia.
It's four in Georgia. I haven't been to two of them.
Yeah.
And they go from there. It's like everybody, there's new volleyball. I haven't not played because I'm not sports inclined. There's so many things that you can do that each one of us have done with, when I say each one of us, Bro Code,
Seven and
all of it. Yeah.
So specifically, when you talked about the intimacy workshops, how do you handle not getting erect, not becoming aroused during situations that are very sensitive in that way?
I'm be honest with you, that it's hard to, no pun intended.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
it's hard
That's
to
exactly
not.
why I asked. Yeah.
It's hard to not stop
Get
that
Not have
hard.
it.
feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to not get hard. So, but it just still, it's almost like when you get a massage, minus the happy ending. Um, you get the massage when you go to Helga when she breaks crack your back and all that stuff.
Not Helga.
Okay.
You get erect, but you're not going to get there like, ooh, Helga, give me a happy ending. No, you're not
Right.
going to do that. But it's the same thing.
So you just the erection has happened,
Yeah.
but no one's reacting to it. No one's engaging with it.
No.
There you go.
However, I will say, however, comma. I will
That's what I was
admit,
waiting on.
however, I throw events where that if that is allowed, but not everybody does
Is
that. If
into
that
that.
makes sense. Yeah.
Right. So that's a good segue into where I want to go now.
Okay.
So what part of what I wanted to have this conversation with is just to kind of be realistic about, this lifestyle.
Mhm.
And in doing that, we can't dismiss the fact that, there will be nude events where it's going to be wholesome, it's going to be platonic, there's no hanky panky, and there's nude events where it can start out wholesome and everything is cool. And then it can switch off 30 minutes later to, all right, so, at 11:59,
Freak
the
off.
clock strikes midnight, the red light comes on, and,
Mhm.
here's the lube, here's the poppers.
Mhm.
Do whatever you want to with that information. And I want to make sure that we're having this conversation because I don't want people to be like, oh, well, people just get into nudity for sex things, because people definitely get into nudity just to be nude, just to be free. But we're going to be realistic. There are
Mhm.
times when, you see people, y'all into each other, you're seeing this person, you got all their goods out, this and the other. You may want to experience that right then. So there will be events, or there are events where, it can switch over to, something that's more sexy and sexual and sensual.
Okay.
And, I just want to make sure that we make sure that people are aware that that can happen. But usually it's going to be advertised in that event, right? People aren't going to just kind of be, oh, I just came over to Jeff's house and we were just playing spades. And the next thing you know, wow, chicka, wow,
See
wow,
that
the
smile.
music
That
turns
smile should
on.
said something different.
Okay.
the bow chicka wow wow music comes on, and then it's turned into a whole thing.
Okay. So I can't speak for nobody else. I'm gonna speak for me
Your
and Bro Code,
experience, yeah.
and me. So Bro Code is broken up in two sessions. There's Bro Code and there's Bro Code After Dark. Bro Code hosts the pool parties, the what we call the wholesome events in the game nights, the yogas and all that
Wholesome
stuff, the
events.
karaoke and all that. And it's strictly just that. Bros After Dark is strictly what it is. And most of the advertisements, and I think Jeff can speak for it, that it's I tell people straight up it's exactly what they think it is. Bro code by itself. And I had to tell people, bro, if it's bro code, no
Wholesome,
sex, it's wholesome. Bros After Dark,
not wholesome.
not wholesome. Now, with that said, and I can speak up for Seven and Mario, they throw quote unquote, and I say quote unquote wholesome when I'm saying quote unquote is not being shaded. It's very much they have new brunch, they have new barbecues, no sex,
Yeah.
not allowed, no, strictly none. No. There are some people that get into the game, and I sound like Nicki Minaj when I say this, and I do apologize. But there are some people that get into nudity and under the impression, when you go to a game night, they advertise as a game night, but it turns to something else. Where the intentions of it was to turn it into something else. So rather than say, hey, once again, it's all about the shaming, not the shaming, but not being truthful about who you really are. Again, so because we have all been to game nights. Let me take that back. I'm not gonna say all. We've been to game nights where we just thought we gonna play Taboo, Super Mario Kart, Next thing you know, y'all playing truth or dare or hearts or spoons. Next thing you know, I dare you to put my dick in your mouth. Wait, in the worst ever, I just came here to dance. I didn't come here for that. So
I just came to Junior's party.
I just came to junior party to dance. That's it. So those are people that will do that. So you have to be tricky of that. But I can speak for Bro Code After Dark. I can speak up for Seven. I can speak up for most of the people that you see do events on the scale of like doing a brunch, doing a karaoke, doing a weekend outside. There is no ill intent. Bro Code, I would say out of all three of us, Bro Code After Dark is the only one that does the play parties and we advertise it as a play party. Even when you go to let me shout them out too. When you go to the new nightclubs, yes, the whole purpose is they do have a dark room.
Yeah.
So when you see Heat and you see Heat reveal, they have that. Yes, it's a new nightclub, but the focus is not necessarily sex. Yes, they have the dark room. It's not saying like, oh, this is a sex club. No,
Right.
they're literally saying this is the nightclub atmosphere. We just happen to be new, but yes, there is a dark room. But they
Space.
also advertise it as yes, there is a dark room.
Yeah.
So it's
So
not like you going to the club, it's a new nightclub, but wait a minute, everybody's fucking.
right. It's
So
kind of
no,
like yeah, because
the true attentions would the true attentions is there. So you do have people that have events that you go for one thing, turn to find out it's something else.
like there's an
So there are
ulterior
people that would
motive.
that there's ulterior motive.
Yeah.
But also, and no shade to them, where they ass is at now.
Yeah, I mean, because it's kind of like, so for example, here at Atlanta, we have Heretic, and Heretic has a dark room. You can go to
Mm,
Heretic and dance and party all you want. You don't have to go into the dark room.
right,
That's completely optional. If you want to go and venture and find out what happens around that corner, that's on you, boo.
right,
But there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to experience. But I do think it's very important to not pull the rug from underneath people and
right,
tell them, hey, my party is going to be this. And then you don't give them any idea that, oh, well, I really want the party to be this, because you really
right,
need to, even if you're going to host something at your house or be private, you need to be like, hey, I want to have this party. I want to do this. I want to have this gathering. I want to have this type of kickback. And I do want it to start off like this. At the end of the night, I want this to happen too. You have to let
right.
people know that so that people aren't like surprised. People look like, I didn't come here for this. And then now you may not have that person come back to your house anymore because
Right.
they were probably fine with
You,
the normal stuff. But then you kind of flip the script and now they're looking at you sideways. Like, yeah, I don't want to go to his house because I'm not really into that.
right. And so you got to be careful of that, and because people will do that, and so I'm like I can't sit here and pretend like it doesn't happen. I can't like everybody's amazing. Everybody got integrity. No, everybody doesn't. But for me, I can say that everything that I do, far as this thing, I do it with integrity. I let people know, like, hey, Broco, the new karaoke is strictly y'all. The only mics y'all be sucking on is the mics y'all singing to. That's
Oh shit.
that's the only mic. That's the only mics y'all gonna be singing to. There ain't no dick sucking there, and I don't think I'm having an after party after for that either. So, but most of the time with bro code is bro code and bro code after dark. If it's bro code after dark, yes, it is it is what you think it is. It's a play party. Advertises that.
Yeah, I can say, like you said, that's definitely been the case. I've been on the mailing list for that, or part of the group, or on the Facebook and Instagram pages. So yeah, I'm aware, and I could say that. So it's been a little bit over a year now. I think I know for a fact I was on Bro Code over a year ago, and Unclad Kings email list and Facebook and meetups. So even before then, like when you said, before I actually started going to the brand's different events, I could
Mm,
say that, I could say like, yeah, Bro Code seems a little bit more sensual, whereas Afro Nudist and Nubian Kings felt a little bit more yeah, we're just new, just hanging out, this, that, and the other. We're not doing anything. And when I started going to the events of all three, I would say that it was all what it was. It was definitely wholesome. Weren't no funny business or anything like that going on. It was just like, oh, we're just nude having breakfast. Oh, we just nude at the campground. Or we just nude at the pool. And there wasn't anything, sexy about it. Then, oh, he's hot type of deal. But as far as, trying to get something popped off, then no. And I haven't been to an after dark event yet. So, I can't speak on that. But definitely there's a delineation between bro code and bro code after dark.
Yes.
Indeed. And so we're speaking about different brands in Atlanta as far as it goes, or different social groups and gatherings. My experience has been that, I see the same people at all of these different events. And so, you go to a bro code event, you'll be like, oh, hey, there's blah, 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 this, that, and other. Oh, I saw him at this event, a couple of months ago. And, as you mentioned people by name and different things like that. Seven and Mario, everyone seems to support each other's different events and things like that. And because of that, it feels like there is this community amongst, all three of the groups. I'll say that seeing some of the same people, like I found the tribe of guys that I like, oh, when I see him at the event, I know I can go sit over at the table with him in the lunchroom because we can kind of, hang out and talk. And, if I go see, how shall I say, the body guys, those guys tend to like gel sometimes together too. So you seem like you can actually know that, oh, that group hangs out with each other. That group hangs out with each other, and this group, it's kind of like, the walking through the lunchroom and Mean Girls, whatever, the hot black hotties and stuff like that. So
have you tried to intermingle with the other groups? And
me
how is that
personally
received?
I mean, after you see people, just like at any event, you see them more than once. I'll start, wave and hey, whatever, and whatnot. Probably introduce myself, but not as far as like spending most of my time. I tend to spend, me. Like once I meet people and I know that person, I'm gonna hang around that person because I'm just more familiar with them, but not necessarily because there's people that I would say as a body boy or in that group that I'm Facebook and Instagram friends with, and they're like, oh, hey, that's that dude, and just kind of like keep it moving. But I don't, we don't really like chat like that.
I have a question
So
about the
I have a beef.
extra. I have a question about the extra, like the extracurriculars or the after darks. So we were talking about vetting process earlier with just the events in general. Is there a separate or a different vetting process for people who are coming to the after dark events?
Yes, I can speak for myself because I'm the one doing the vetting.
Okay.
I'm the one doing the vetting. So once again, similar process of doing the regular normal events. Um, more of this one is more lenient. I will say I'm more lenient with it, but also at the same time, probably strict with it at the same time. When I say lenient, because I know exactly why you're here and it's okay. Um, but also at the same time, still with the are you discreet? Are you gonna tell anybody the business? Still no phones, um, no chaos, no body shaming, none of that. So I'm very strict on that. There's no zero tolerance. And Jeff knows has known me long enough that I don't play no shit. I don't like get on my nerves. I will put your ass out. So still the vetting process is still there. Little bit more lenient with it because for me, with Bro Code After Dark, there's a membership as well. So you don't necessarily have to join the membership, but there's a membership. And even with that membership, I went through me and my partner, not my partner as a boyfriend, but the partner of I had to say that because we had to emphasize that. Me and my
Business partner.
partner, business partner, yes. We went through and chose the people that's in the group and all that. You don't necessarily have to pay to be in the group, although it works out to pay for the group because you get the discount. And we still work on the other stuff, but we do the vetting process of that, and then even with then, which I'm still working on. Even if you come to the Bro Code After Dark event, you automatically become a part of the member because at that point, you see that where we're about, and you automatically get in there. Even though I need to update that information, but it's still that process is still there of vetting because at the end of the day, we still want to keep people's privacy because some people are not out. Some people are got to go home to Shirley and their kids, and they just want to
Not Shirley.
play
So
around that night.
Barbara and Shirley.
Barbara, Barbara and
So,
Shirley,
so
but
are
they want
so
so they got sure yeah.
so let me ask this though, like, is there,
Okay,
even though you're talking about the vetting, you're just talking about vetting in general, is there any sort of aesthetic vetting that you do?
no,
Okay.
and I can speak for myself, and I think Jeff can witness that we have the only thing I will say the only aesthetic I will admit that we do have you do have to be born a man. You have to have the male part.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
Because
that's
it's a gay event.
for right now. Not it's a gay event, and not necessarily a gay event because we have straight men there too. We
Oh,
have
after dark.
bi-curious men there, but um, yeah, I'm not
Mm.
gonna say who, but it was there. But
Yeah, I don't need to know that. Yeah, just for
but it was
GP.
they
That's
was
all I'm with.
they was
Okay.
there. Look, and so but it's more of like for after dark. It does have to be you have to be born male. Um, Eventually, I would love to get into having the trans people come and have their own separate event, meaning or comfortability as well, mingling. Um, I don't know when that happen, but I would love to have that happen. But for right now, it's mostly strictly male. With that said, however, there are events and also campgrounds where they do have trans weekend, like the campground in River's Edge. They have a trans weekend for the trans girls and trans guys. There also been trans women, trans men participating at the regular when there's not even a event going on. So
Okay. Okay.
I've seen it happen, and I think for right now, um, far as I know, I haven't seen any trans men there at any of the events that I've been to so far.
When
And
whenever I do the rose, there was a trans man there.
okay,
Yeah, that event that Plaid put on, there was a trans.
okay.
Mhm.
So I know they're into nudity. I know they're there. I know I'll say this far as Broco After Dark is I was not say biological male, but male born male.
Okay.
Um I don't know as far as like I don't think any trans men have ever come to our events. I don't think we would discriminate them if they come to like the karaoke or anything like that. And like you said, I don't think I like I said, I've never seen one there, but I don't think either with Seven or Mario they would discriminate. Even if when Jeff said one was there, so I don't think they would discriminate because at the end of the day, we try to make a safe space for everybody.
Hmm.
You know, like we were saying, every one of these groups, kind of intermingle,
All right.
fellowship, anyway.
But
So it's kind
and like I was getting to, I was actually going to go back to that. So um Quarter Seven is technically the I'm not gonna say that he's the head father of all of us, like we a house, but no, I'm not gonna say that part.
of
But he's very much the one that has everyone quote unquote in line and commingle with each other. So it's Seven Mario, um, Broco, and that's also Reveal. I also have a kinship to Heat, which was part of Reveal earlier in like with them because for me, um, it's because those guys are younger, and so for me, I'm like, hey, y'all. I'm not gonna say y'all come under my wing, but I'm gonna help y'all out because as we older gentlemen of the gay society, you need to help the youth out and get them guided. Not saying they need it, but to
They
be
do.
there for them as well. So just like Mario. has helped me and how 7 has helped me. I'm reaching out to I reached out to Heat to do the same thing for them.
Like to see that support, people supporting, reaching down and helping other
Also,
people up.
also let me give a
Good.
shout out to my other friend that also does nude.
Sure.
He also does nude hiking. I seen Brotherhood, which they do hikes and they do hiking and stuff. So part of there's Third Rock on Twitter. He go by James, so he also part of that group as well.
Cool. All right. And we'll have links to all of these
Okay.
social media groups and people that's been mentioned tonight, so that
Oh yeah, I was
people
like, I was
can.
hoping that those people were okay being mentioned.
They getting free advertising.
Yeah, they're getting some free.
Okay,
They're getting
just
plugged
listen.
today.
Because like, trust me, I'm about to send some invoices out after this conversation over. I'm like, hey,
Okay.
Advertisement, run me my revenue.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that the
Multiple
leaders of
streams.
these groups don't they're proud. They don't care. Now the people that attend some of these events, they may have a little bit more discretion, but this way, people can still find these groups and find people that they can connect with, at least in the Atlanta area. And like I said, if they're not in this immediate metro area of Atlanta, they would still at least be able to maybe reach out to some people and try to get some ideas on how to start their own groups in their own metro areas.
Yeah, that was my only concern. I was like, I hope that these people are okay with being mentioned. So yeah, if y'all say they're good and they're getting that free promotion, quote free promotion, because they haven't been invoiced yet by Jimmy. But yeah, then that's cool.
They trust they about to get an invoice. Like cash out me my money.
Yeah. And so speaking about, that, because we were mentioning about how some people will be going through a vetting process, because you can still be a creep at even the more sexual events. So once you kind of get blacklisted, and I imagine that, hey, if it gets down the road that, Jeff Brown did this crazy thing at my event, and you'd be like, yeah, no, we're not inviting him. And then you just excommunicated from the community and you just kind of like done. So you want to make sure that you don't do anything crazy so that you don't end up, blacklisted.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. You start your own group.
Right. Yeah. Start your own group. You can do all the freaky, nasty, deaky stuff that you went to. No shame. So, Darius, you asked about, in mingling and socializing with the different body types and things like that. Some people have, gym bodies. Some people be like more thicker, like me, or dad bods, because you're going to see, thick. Because like even at all of the events that I've gone to, again, I see the same people all the time, or most of the time, because people are going to support some folks no matter what. They're going to ride or die with Seven. They're going to ride or die with Mario. So you're going to see everything from skinny minis all the way to obese people and muscular, thick, football, rugby, basketball, runners, swimmer build. You'll see all the builds. You're going to see all of the shapes and sizes, the lengths, thickness, and widths. And once you kind of get over seeing, all these different bodies, and again, you don't really start. Initially, I can say that someone has not been to those types of things and they're not used to seeing men just kind of like socialize in that setting. You can be a little bit starry-eyed and misty, but you get over that. Like after a while, it's become so normalized that you don't really think about, oh, this guy is hot, this, that, and the other. You just end up having a conversation with them and y'all just talking about, oh yeah, I play this video game. Oh yeah, I saw, Agatha. Oh yeah, I watch Transformers. I'm into Naruto. You can get into those conversations and you're not so caught up on how they look or what they look like, or, oh, what's that dangly thing he got hanging over there? Or what's that mole he got? All of that stuff kind of like goes out the window. You don't really think about it anymore. And I think it kind of makes you be, at least for me, a little bit more comfortable about talking about anything, just because you're not really worried about, oh, yeah, does my outfit, did I spill, spaghetti sauce on my shirt? Like all of that stuff kind of like is out the way. At least that's been my experience.
How long did it take either of you to get to that level of comfort or that level of normalization? I'll say it like that.
Okay. So since I'm the newbie,
Mhm.
let me answer this one first, if you don't mind.
Mhm.
So I went to I told you I was going to that brunch or whatever, and it was a road brunch, and so this was put on by Seven. So that is kind of a good newbie friendly event because even though you have to be nude under the robe, you have the robe. So if you feel comfortable enough to get completely nude, you can. If you want to keep the robe on for a little bit of extra comfort, you can do that. So once it gets to the point, at least for me, the 2 times that I've been to those brunches, start off with the robe, this and the other, and then you eat, you talk, you fellowship, have a shot or two if that's your thing. You just feel like comfortable to just take the robe off because other people start taking it off. And I'm one of those people that I'm more of a when in Rome type of guy. So I don't want to feel like I'm the person that's the oddball because I feel like when you are that person, you kind of look weird to everybody else. Because like when I went to Nude Beach in Mexico, there were a couple of guys that still had on like their bathing suits. And I was like, 99% of the guys here are
Not judging them.
naked or nude. Why do you have on this your speedo, sir? Just take it off. You look weird. So you were getting more. They were, to me, getting more attention because they were not naked than if they had just taken their clothes off. Nobody would have thought anything else about it. So I'll just say for me, pretty quickly in the process, we're just kind of like, oh, well, let me just take off my clothes and my robe and just kind of go from there.
I think for me, it maybe because that's like my first experience. I think I was like 31, 32. I didn't fully deep dive in it. So, like I said, like I was 37, but I think it took me maybe a year because it went from getting over the fact that okay, because I will admit, I was like not equating nudity with sexuality. It was like I will admit for me, it did take a minute because it's like because we so drunk
We're
accustomed
so
to that
visual. Yeah,
aspect,
we're visual.
so visual, and so then realizing that I think a long time ago, I don't think they still do it no more. It was this house in my neighborhood, well, in my city, I should say. These older white guys, they used to host. They had a pool, and they used to let people come there and sunbathe and naked and all that stuff there. So that's when I really got into it for real because it was just relaxing and all that stuff. And so then, um, probably during the pandemic for real, when you had shit else to do, um, just walk around naked because shit, you ain't got shit else to do. So and like you can go anywhere, but it was just like the, that was like my first experience and get into it. And so then, um, when me getting broke with being introduced to bro code was probably I don't remember. I think it was during the pandemic or before the pandemic. I don't remember. Um, and being around and finding them on Meetup, and it's like, oh, these other black men or other guys that interlude they're gay, nothing sexual. This is fun, so just got into it.
Okay. There was something else that you all mentioned when you're talking about nudity and people being nude, and a lot of times I hear people say all the time that it's about being free, it's about being unrestrained, it's about being just out and open and unapologetic. So my question has always been, and maybe you all can kind of shed a little bit of light based on your opinions or your experience, I should say, but what are people being free from? What are they free? What are they unbound from? Like, what are those things, and why use those terms?
So I'm gonna quote RuPaul again, and when she said it,
Hmm.
we're born naked, the rest is drag.
Hmm.
And what I mean by that, and from my experience, is because with clothes, it's all about an appearance or covering up something. And when I say covering up something, um, for me, it's like you wearing clothes to hide whatever you not necessarily your insecurities. Yes, we all dress alike. I like wearing clothes because I like to look fly. But
Mm-hmm.
it's the standpoint of like there's like even with clothes, there's only some restrictions because even with women, you got to wear bras. Some women got to wear bras or wear bras,
Mm-hmm. Right.
and you got to wear
Right.
panties and all this stuff. And with being nude, and also in certain cultures, certain clothing are meant to bar you. When I say you got it for the people that's Muslim, women have to cover their eyes
Job.
have jobs
Right.
and all
Right.
that stuff,
Jobs. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
or certain guards. Whereas when you naked, you're literally out of drag, meaning that you being your full authentic self. Even if you don't like your body, you being your full authentic self when you nude and being naked. Because the first thing you see, let me cut. I'm about to say something, but because I was like getting too deep. Like when you go to the bathroom, you got to get naked. You're your full authentic self. You're in your most vulnerable state when you're naked. Also, when you're nude, so you're free of all the restrictions. You're free of whatever society is telling you. You're free from the when you're in, depending on your religion, where you got to wear the long skirt, the long hair, other stuff, or you got to be covered up. You're free from all of that when you're naked. So it's free. You're not bound to anybody. You're not bound to the restriction because you're with your almost authentic self when you're naked. Even when we was kids running around naked or taking our diaper off because we being stupid, it's freeing because you're just running around just being yourself. Like my grandma used to say, you happy as a jaybird, naked as a jaybird.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Right.
like because the jaybird is making noises and just being free and making a joyful sound. Now let me say this because I know people gonna say this country is fucked, but literally
It is, but it's okay.
it's that's the friend aspect. It's friend because the people you see a naked jaybird, they making joyous sound. So
Yeah, I'll say for me, it makes it part of me for my journey, and even going back before this, when I mentioned this earlier about the road brunch, is that going to Jeju was a thing for me because it helped. Part of that for me was overcoming some of my own insecurities with being comfortable with my body and some self acceptance. And so going to like a Jeju or Spa Land or something like that, you may end up having a conversation with somebody just because y'all was sitting in the same room about whatever. It could be the sports game, it could be politics and things like that. For me, going to these events where I knew that, and let me go back just a second. Going to Spotland and going to Jeju, I know that I'm going to probably be around the majority of people who are going to be white and or Asian. And so going to these events, I know that I'm going to be around black men. So with going into the Bro Code events, the 7 events, the Unclad King events, I don't care that the man across from me or beside me looks better than me or has a better body or less body fat, bigger dick, nicer ass, nicer chest. Like, I don't care about those things. And I don't care that they see me or that they may judge me because of what I look like, even though I'm not as fit as I used to be 2 or 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And because I don't care about those things, and that's part of the freedom for me, is because I don't have to be like, oh, well, let me make sure I got this shirt on and that I didn't stretch the bottom of my t-shirt so it don't hug my stomach. I don't have to go through all of that because I don't care if that man that I think is hot sees me naked. Because he
Okay.
may like the way that I look, even though he may be into, I'm into the thick dudes and this, that, and the other, and that's
Mm-hmm.
fine. But I'm not going to these events with the intention of trying to land a man
right.
or try to get with
Right.
someone or whatever. That wasn't my focus going to these things. So part of that freedom for me is just the self-acceptance, the not caring about other people's opinions about my body or anything like that. That is part of the freedom for me.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. No. Um, so speaking of body acceptance and things like that, I think it's important that people can understand. Like I just mentioned that you'll see bodies from all types. And you mentioned that earlier in this conversation, Jimmy, that, going to a new beach or anything, that there's going to be the general population, that there's going to be everything. So if a person is listening to this conversation and they're, curious about entering this type of lifestyle or this lifestyle, they don't have to be so focused on everybody's going to be looking at me, because they're not. There's going to be so many other people that there may be a person that may be interested in you, sure, but everybody's eyes are not going to be on you. They're going to be in their own world, trying to do their own thing, talk to their own friends, and this, that, and the other. And, if you introduce yourself, great. But it's not going to be a thing where the focus is going to be on you. And, matter of fact, like I told you before, conversation offline between me and Darius, I had a new gathering at my house. We had a newbie come that had never been to anything. And like, he jumped in like head first. He was just all up in it. He was super nervous coming into the door. Dude greeted me and was like, heart was just boom, 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 boom. And I want to say, like, once he got his clothes off, everybody got their clothes off, and he was like, oh man, this is awesome. And just got invited to an event in a couple of weeks, and someone specifically asked me to include him, so I sent him the invite.
Of course they do.
Yeah, because he enjoyed himself so much, and they just want to welcome him into the community here. So, it can be one of those things where you really do just get that brotherhood and, community, because I still feel like it can be, at least the circle that I'm in, is close knit. Now, I may not be in, say, a circle with another group of people that go to these same events that I go to, but I'm going to imagine and extrapolate that they're having those same type of connections, even though I'm socially not involved with them as much, other than we'll go to an event that we both paid to get to. They're sponsored by one of the groups here. But yeah, I'm going to imagine that, they're having that same type of experience on their end as well, where, oh, hell, come on into the community with us. And this is our tribe of this branch of the community, because any type of social activity is always going to be the different tribes and different subcultures and things like that. And the one that, me and Jimmy just kind of share just happens to be pretty welcoming. And I felt nothing but welcoming or welcomed into these different spaces.
That's good.
Yep. Okay. So I think we've pretty much answered everything that I had. Did you have any questions? Any more questions, Darius?
No, not as of right now. I mean, I'm sure that my wheels are still turning here, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I should have probably asked this, or I should have asked that, because you know how I do. There's 20,000 questions that are still floating around in there, but the ones hadn't delivered just yet. But no, I'm good. I really appreciate the conversation, and I appreciate the honesty, and the vulnerability behind, what it is. It's something that is new, that is in Jeff's life. And because Jeff and I have been friends for so long, me watching him kind of go through this has been really interesting. And I mean, there were even some points where, like, he would tell me he's going to events and would like not tell me like initially that they were nude events. And I'm going, oh, okay, oh, well, that's cool, you're going to a brunch, or oh, that's cool, you're going to karaoke. And then, because even when he talked about that brunch, he said, oh yeah, we're going to a brunch, I need to get a robe. And I was like, what do you need a robe for if you're going to brunch? And he's like, oh, it's a nude brunch. And I was like, oh, okay. And then it was like going to karaoke, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, that's dope. I was like, I know that you've been to karaoke maybe once or twice before, but all right. And then it just dawned on me. I was like, wait, is it nude karaoke? Yes, it's nude karaoke. I was like, okay, all right. I don't know who you are anymore, sir, but but it's cool. I'm happy that he is experiencing that. So
what was your initial thoughts when you found out he was going to this?
When he started going to these events, it's it's the idea of just newness, the thing that you feel when you first experience something and you're like, okay, wait, what's going on here? Like initially, it wasn't judgment at all. It was more
Mhm.
like, okay, wait a minute, where's this coming from? Like, and all of the questions started to come there, like, okay, wait, because he initially, I believe, got involved in this group because he had found another circle of friends that he was kind of kicking it with. Am I right in that?
Not exactly.
Okay.
Because remember earlier in this conversation, I said I've been part of or been on the mailing list to both Bro Code and Nubian Kings, Nudian Kings, I think, um, for a while. So that's been
See,
over
yeah,
a
I
year.
don't think I knew that. I'm not sure I knew that. Or if I did, I forget shit all the time. So
Yeah, it's
I
one.
wasn't sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because I guess it just hasn't been anything that just kind of like came up. I think in our conversations,
Right.
it's like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
interested in this, but not to the point where I'm actually going to go to this event. It hadn't reached that point until last year.
Yeah.
So, and then what ended up happening was just that I got sent the invite to someone I already was aware of that road brunch. And then someone that I knew had DM'd me the thing because I was telling them about the new beach in PVR. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll go. Since he and mentioned this to me, I'll just go ahead on and go. And that's ended up kind of like kicking it off. But it didn't necessarily have anything to do with, people that I've met within the last year or so. It didn't have
Okay,
anything to
so
do with them.
that's where I thought kind of somewhat of the gateway was that you had met a new kind of circle of friends that you were hanging
Mm,
with, and you were telling me about them, and I was like, okay, well that's cool. And then all of a sudden, I started hearing about these events, and I was like, oh, okay, so maybe they were the catalyst to kind of get you into those events. Again, I didn't know that you had been on mailing lists before that, but
yeah.
so again, so when I kind of started hearing more about the events, there was a point where actually I thought that he was trying to like not mention that he was going to as many nude events as he was going to, because I was like, okay, I don't know if he's just kind of not telling me or if he's
No, it wasn't. It didn't have anything to do with that. It's just that it just wasn't that big of a deal. I guess in my mind, it was normalized, but
okay.
to you, it's not normalized. So
Yeah,
now, if I
because it's
tell you that I'm going
new.
to do something, then it's going to be, is this a nude event? And it's not a nude event. It's
That's
just like, oh,
exactly how
so
it
going
comes
to
out. Yeah.
this. So, now it's kind of like if I am, because that has happened so often, now
Hmm.
it's like I just disclose, yeah, I'm going to this nude event, blah, 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 this and the other.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
So then
that
I
just
don't
kind of
have
gets
to
it out.
ask.
Then you don't
Yeah.
even have to ask me
Right.
because, yeah, it's not everything that I do is going to be nude.
Not everything you do is nude.
No,
Right.
not going to be
Gotcha.
nude. Not going to
Hmm.
be have any nakedness and whatnot go on. Now,
I would
I
hope
may not tell
not, though.
you. I may not tell you about the debauchery, but
And I'm absolutely fine with not knowing that shit. I get enough. I hear enough about it, and I have my own that I'm dealing with. So I'm good on not hearing about everybody else's debauchery. But yeah, that was really what it was. It was just kind of a new thing for me. It's like, if you're involved with somebody in any sort of kind of relationship, whether that's a friendship or an acquaintanceship or a relationship,
Mm.
and something new kind of happens in that person's life, you kind of go, oh, okay, you start paying attention to it, and those questions kind of come. But again, I told him before, he and I have had a conversation about it, and I said, listen, I was like, I'm happy that you're happy, in this. It's not something that I'm going to necessarily, jump
Do.
into or delve
Yeah.
into. It, maybe somewhere down the road that may happen. I don't see that happening anytime soon, but I'm like, hey, you do what you got to do.
yeah, and we were just when we came down and when you came down and our expanded circle of people were down here, and we did that race. We were almost going to Jeju, and I don't remember exactly why we didn't end up going. I think probably we were too tired after that race to come
Who,
back
me and
out here.
you?
But yeah, me and you, because remember we had done that mud race, and I was like, oh yeah. And then after that, we can go to Jeju, and then I was trying to get everybody to kind of go at the same time.
Oh,
But
you talking about when everybody was in town that time?
yeah, when everybody was in town,
Okay.
and
And
yeah,
we
we
had the
had the
Airbnb.
Airbnb.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I remember
So
that. Yeah.
yeah, no,
No, I don't
just
remember you tell. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't remember shit. So I don't remember you saying
yeah.
we were gonna go to this, but
Yeah.
But I was like, no, I'm gonna go take a nap. I'm gonna take a shower and take a nap.
Yeah,
I don't know what the hell J Drew is, or what's the name of it?
Jeju, because it
Jeju.
was the Korean spot. So that's where I was trying to get everyone to go, because I was like, I knew that I did not want to go to this mud race and wash myself off, because I was like, I'm just gonna pay a Korean man to scrub this shit off of me, because I don't feel like doing it, because I know what this process is like. So yeah, but we ended up not going for whatever reason. But yeah, you were that close to going to that. Almost, but I don't see yourself.
Maybe.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, for you, I don't see you as this version of yourself actually going to a nude event. Not saying that you would never, but the version of you that I know right now, I don't see it.
I would be the guy that would go to the robe brunch and keep my robe on and be like, I don't give a fuck about what y'all think about. I got my robe on. I'm good.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Like, that taking your robe off would have been completely optional.
Right.
The only requirement would have been you have to be completely naked to go through. Underneath that robe, you can have on shit else.
Okay.
And they checked.
So they actually checked like the
you
whole...
have to flash. Yeah, you had to show that your dick was out underneath that robe. But other than that, that was the only time that you had to be exposed.
So they are checking then. Earlier we were talking about how no, they don't check to
they're not
take
smelling
a bath or anything.
Yeah, they're not doing all that. They just want
they have black gloves on going, okay, yeah.
No, they're not doing all that. They're just making sure that you're naked underneath that robe, that you don't have on like a little thong or whatever to keep your junk up. Like everything has to be exposed. Or a cage. I think you could wear a cock ring, but yeah, everything had to be out. All right. Cool beans. Any further questions for us, Jimmy?
No, I'm good. Thank y'all for having me once again.
Yeah, cool. And we appreciate you for coming to Just Drawz. So before we close out, how can we reach you on the socials?
Okay, so you can reach me personally at Grab Your Jimmy on both X, I keep calling Twitter, and
Twitter.
Instagram. You can follow Broco at Broco ATL on both X and Instagram as well. And that's pretty much it. And also, you didn't ask, but I'm going to go ahead and give it up now. We also have an event on November 8th. Nude karaoke in Atlanta, Georgia. Place to be determined, meaning that when you buy the ticket, we'll tell you then. And people that's listening to the podcast, you get a 10% discount by using y'all actually have a special code. Drawz.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
That's what's up.
DRAWZ. And you can buy those tickets at blacknet.com/BrocoATL.
Repeat that for us again.
Hold on.
And
we'll have to repeat that for myself. Wait a minute, I have to repeat that myself. Hold on.
We'll have the link.
Oh, I'm lying. So let me say it correctly.
Okay.
You have lied twice.
It's blackeden.net/Broco, not BrocoATL, but it's blackeden.net/Broco.
Like the Garden of Eden.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Cool. Well, we appreciate that. Appreciate you, Jimmy, for coming on. We appreciate Broco for providing this special discount code for their event. We'll make sure that we have this episode will be released before the event so that, we can make sure that y'all get maximum participation in that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. So we're going to close it out again. I am Jeff. Thanks for listening and watching Just Drawz.
And I'm Darius, aka DMC. We'll catch you next time.
All right. Peace.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Now be sure to like, share, and follow us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, and Spotify at Just Drawz. That's JUSTDRAWZ. Until next time,